Hello friends, how are you all? Welcome to our HTML training session. Today we will talk about HTML CSS. CSS is used to control various aspects of your web page, such as color, font size, spacing, and much more. It helps make your web page visually appealing and give it a consistent look and feel. Let's first, what is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. It's allow you to style and format the layout of your web page. With one single style sheet, you can control the style of multiple pages. Now, let's look at the feature of CSS. First, you can set the color and font size. After that, you can adjust the text size. CSS allow you to position elements on the page and use background image colors. Additionally, it helps make your web page responsive for different device and screen size like desktop, tablets, and smartphones. Understanding cascading in CSS, the term cascading means that the style applied to an element will also be applied to all its child elements, unless you specify otherwise. This gives you the flexibility to manage style easily. Now, let's look at an example. Here, we have some text, paragraph, and a body. The body color is set to red. So, all the text, paragraph, and heading inside the body will inherit this color. Let's check this example in code. I will open my code editor. Here, you can see the body elements. Inside the body, we have an h1 tag for the heading and a paragraph. There also a div with another paragraph inside it. The heading and the first paragraph inherit the body's red color because the style is applied to body elements. Similarly, all the elements inside the body will follow this rule. Now, let's say we want to change the color of paragraph inside the div. We can target a specified paragraph and change its color without affecting the parent elements. Here's how we can do it. Div style color blue. Now, you will notice that the color of the paragraph inside the div has changed to blue, while the other text remains red. This is an example. Whatever paragraph we write inside the div will have a blue color. Now, I will change the color of previous text. Let's look at the result. I will set the color of the paragraph to green. Now, you can see that the color of all paragraph has changed to green because I especially set the color of the p tag to green. Now, way to add CSS to HTML. There are three primary ways to add CSS to your HTML documents. The first method is inline CSS. We use the style attribute directly inside the element to apply style, such as changing the color of or adding other to style. Next is internal CSS. In internal CSS, we use the style tag as I show you. This tag is placed inside the head section of the HTML documents. Here, the third method is external CSS. In external CSS, we create a spread CSS file, add link into the HTML documents. This method is most useful when we want to apply the same style to multiple pages. Now, let's look at the specify method one by one. First, inline CSS is used to apply a unique style to a single line. This style is defined using the style attribute within the elements itself. For example, you can use the style attribute to define the style for the body, like this style color blue. I will copy this code and paste it into my code editor. Now, if I look at the code, The style attribute is used to set the color to red and the font size to 30 pixels for the paragraph. Here's how we can apply inline styling. We use the style attribute within the elements. For instance, I will change the color of the heading to green by setting. Now, the color of heading will be green. Similarly, I can change the paragraph color using inline CSS. This is the paragraph. We can also change the font size by modifying the style attribute. Paragraph. Font size will become larger. Internal CSS is used to style a single HTML page. It is placed within a style elements in the head section of the HTML documents. For example, I will copy this code and paste it into my code editor. You can set the background color of the body, the color of heading, and the color of paragraph using internal CSS. This means that the body can have a light gray background, like changing the heading colors. You can easily modify styles for that elements. For example, changing the heading colors to red will make the heading appear in red. Similarly, you can change other elements like the paragraph colors by modifying the style for the paragraph, and the paragraph can be green. Now, let's talk about external CSS, which is used to style multiple HTML pages. With this method, you create a separate CSS file and link it to your HTML pages. This allows you to maintain consistent styling across multiple pages. For example, you create a CSS file and define style like background color, heading colors, and paragraph color. Then, you link this external CSS file to your HTML documents. By linking the external CSS file, the style defined in that file will be applied to all HTML pages that link to it. Here the name is used style.css. Inside the body, we have a heading and a paragraph. Now, I will copy this and paste it here. Now, I will write my CSS file. For instance, I will copy the body style and paste it here as CSS. Now, this CSS has been applied. I add the CSS in a separate file, and as you can see, changes are being applied. For example, the heading h1 is now blue because the color for h1 is defined as blue in the CSS. The paragraph color is set to red, so it's appear red. The body color is powder blue. Now, I will change the body color from powder blue to gray. Now, I will set the paragraph color to yellow. As you can see, this is how we can change the color by using the external CSS file. Common CSS properties. We can use properties like color, background color, font family, font size, and font weight. For instance, color. We can set the color of any element such as setting it to red, which will turn that element's text color red. Background color. We can set a background color for elements. For example, setting it to light blue will change the background color of element. Font family. This property set font family. This property let us choose the font style for text. You can set it to Arial, Fantasy, or other font like Roboto. Font size. You can adjust the size of the text. It's the font size properties. For example, setting is to 20 pixels. Font weight. This property adjusts the thickness of the text, making it appear either light or dark. The text alignment defines how we want the text to be horizontally, whether it should be aligned to the left, right, or the center. For example, if we use text align center, the text will be aligned to the center. The text decoration property is used to apply decorative style to the text, such as underline, overline, or removing any line. For example, if we want to underline the text, we use text decoration, underline, and it will be add an underline below the text. The margin property is used to create space outside the element's border. For instance, if we set margin 10 pixel, it will be add 10 pixel of space around the element's border. The padding properties is similar to margin, but it is used to create space inside the element's border effectively, creating space between the content and the border. The border property defines the border around an element. For example, if you set border on pixel solid black, it will create a black border around an element that is 1 pixel thick. You can customize the color of thickness of the border as needed. Next, the width and height properties allow you to define size of an element. For example, you can also set the height property similarly to adjust the size of the element. The display properties define how an element is displayed. I can set to block, inline or none. If set to block, the elements will be take up the entire width of the parent. If set the inline, it will only take up as much space as its content. If set to none, the element will not be displayed at all. The position property is used to set the position of an element on the page. You can use value like relative or absolute. When an element is positioned relatively, it will be positioned relative to its normal position in the document flow. If it is positioned absolute, it will be positioned relative to the nearest position and center. The top, right, bottom, and left property are used to define the position of an element relative to its containing block with its position is set to relative, absolute, or fixed. The overflow property handles content that overflow an element's box. If the content is larger than the box, you can set overflow to hide the overflow or overflow scroll to end scroll bar for overflow content. For example, if I use overflow hidden, any content exceeding the defined size, example 100 pixels, will not be visible. Only the content that fixed with the set height, example 200 pixels, will be displayed. Alternatively, we can use overflow scroll to allow scrolling of overflow content or adjust it as need, which you can explore further in CSS. Next, the z-index property defines the stack order of elements. The element with a higher z-index value will be displayed in a font of those with lower z-index value. In simple terms, elements with higher z-index will appear above those with a lower z-index. The opacity property controls the visibility of an element by setting its transparency. For instance, opacity 0.5 means that elements will be partially transparent, showing only 50% of its content, while capacity 1 means it will be fully visible without any transparency. You can define the opacity value between 0 and 1. The float property is used to position elements, making them float to the left or right. For example, you might float an image to the right of a text block. The clear property is used in conjunction with the float property. It prevents elements from appearing next to a float element and can be set to clear both the left and right side. So, CSS provide powerful tool for formatting web page and their content. You can style your HTML document using inline, internal, and external CSS. If you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment. Keep smiling and happy coding. Thank you.